Fight fans all over the world, it's Daddy P with Slap Pappy Gorilla. What? Hey, check it. Terence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. Look, who gets to fight next? Tim Tszyu versus Sebastian Fundora. This fight ain't in the books yet. We don't know who gonna win, and we don't know what's gonna happen. We have to tune in Saturday night, PBC. Hey, Amazon Prime, that's what it's all about. This fight is taking place in Las Vegas. Hey, look, it's going to be a fun night of boxing to watch. Look, Pitbull Cruz. Hey, Rolly Romero. This is a fun card to watch, man. And I can't wait for it. But this the thing, look. The matter at hand, and this thing has been talked about all over the YouTube. Especially lately, the last couple days. And I saw the Angry Man podcast. Hey, shout out to Angry Man podcast, man. Jason and Greg. And you know, listening to them, I was, you know, Greg, boy. Hey, I like both of those guys, man. I like the podcast. I tune into them every Sunday. You know, sometimes they might postpone or whatever, but man, I call in a couple times. I love that podcast because, you know, boxing fans, we need a platform where we can, no matter if our opinions don't have to be the same, but this is a fraternity. It's a niche. This is a niche sport. Like, you know, people watch baseball, people watch football, basketball, but boxing has become a niche sport. So the fan base is like, you know, it's not like any other sport. So we need platforms where we can have an outlet. That's why I started a YouTube channel. You know, it's because just to have an outlet, you know. Because I don't have friends like, you know, people I hang around, work with, whatever. When you say boxing, they mention Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali, like the old legends. Most of them don't know what's going on in current boxing. But in current boxing, you know, hey, if you're a boxing fan, man, we need the type of platforms like Angry Man Podcast. That's one that's, you know, it's a good platform for boxing fans. You know, like I say, whether we agree, like we have the same opinions about certain topics, that don't matter. It's a platform that we can go to and talk about boxing. It's a fun platform. It has become a fun outlet that I enjoy, you know. But anyway, I guess that's my disclosure. I don't know. But I was listening to Greg, man, and I was like, man, what Greg talking about? He was talking about Errol Spence getting the fight next, the winner from Fundora and Tim Tszyu. And I was like, man, but wait a minute. Terence Crawford using his leverage as the WBO super champion. You know, just like he did to get in 147. He challenged the fight for that because he was the 140-pound undisputed champion. Y'all remember, Terence Crawford was the 140-pound undisputed champion. Listen. And he moved up to 147. He used his leverage as the super champion, the WBO super champion, to leapfrog into 147 and challenge for that belt. So his first fight at 147 was a championship bout, you know, because he was the champion at 140. So now he's trying to do the same thing to leapfrog into 154. And he has basically played his card to do that. Now, and what Angry Man podcast Greg was talking about was, hey, look, he even said himself, he said Terence Crawford deserves the fight. And I agree. I agree with that. Terence Crawford deserves that fight. But Errol Spence has, hey, he played his card in a different way. And the thing about it is, and I'm going to tell you like this. At first, I felt Greg was just because he is a big Spence fan. Greg is a Spence fan. I'm like, man, he just talking, about cause Spence. This is about Spence. But nah, Greg really had something going, and from watching a lot of the rest of how it's been unfolding and playing out, CEO of Mayweather Promotions, Leonard Ellaby, made mention of the same topic, man. When interviewed, this weekend you get a lot of good interviews. You see a lot of good interviews by a lot of important people. And I'm going to tell you, whether you want to admit it or not, another great platform for international boxing, another great boxing platform. Whether you agree with his opinions or not, he's an intellectual and he has a lot of good points. One of his good points is, it don't matter what you think about Leonard Ellaby. Leonard Ellaby is a boxing insider, meaning he has inside information that the average boxing fan does not have. Listen, Leonard Ellaby was talking about, hey, look, this is the PBC, right? This is who putting on a lot of this stuff. Whether you can like, hate, whatever, the PBC. The PBC is who it is. Mayweather Promotions is a big part of who PBC is. Al Heyman and Mayweather Promotions are the foundation of PBC. Floyd Mayweather, now listen good. Floyd Mayweather's career was guided by Al Heyman in the latter half of his career. That's what really helped Floyd Mayweather become successful. Now, he became successful to this end, that other boxers saw his success and wanted to follow. That's what helped build the PBC. So, when Mayweather, and I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you an example of this now. The biggest boxing match basically in history. You could say the fight was boring, didn't live up to hype, whatever. But it still was the biggest, I'm talking about, match basically so far. Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather. Now, I remember when Floyd Mayweather said that to Manny Pacquiao, you need to come and sign with us. You know what I'm saying? You get this fight, you need to come sign with us. I remember thinking that was ridiculous. I remember thinking like, dog, why the man got to sign with y'all and do this here? Nah, what ended up happening? Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao fought. They made a lot of money, and guess what happened? Manny Pacquiao went and signed with the PBC. And guess what happened after that? Manny Pacquiao had a post-career that was better than a lot of these boxers had a post-career. He went on the PBC. He fought Adrian Broner. He fought Keith Thurman. I mean, that's just the name. Look, Manny Pacquiao made a lot of money signing with the PBC. And I'm going to tell you, this is a thing, I don't care what you think about the PBC, but the PBC has a corner on the market. And I'm talking about with current boxing. And I'm not like a network like fanboy. Like, I'm not a fan of networks and this platform, that. I just want to see good boxing. But to be very honest, quite honest, the PBC has brought us some great boxing over the years since they've been here. Hey, the biggest fights has been under PBC. PBC has had something to do with some of the greatest and biggest fights in boxing. Canelo Alvarez and Floyd Mayweather, they weren't really like a structure like that then, but Al Heyman has something to do with that. He's a brilliant businessman, and he is a boxing mind. Floyd Mayweather is the boxing mind. Al Heyman is the business mind. So with those two together, they have been involved in some of the biggest fights that boxing has ever seen. You know, the Conor McGregor, well, however you feel about Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather, this was an event that, look, most boxing events pale in comparison to this event. So look, whatever you think about whatever and whoever, Mayweather Promotions is a big part of the PBC. That's my whole point. And Leonard Ellaby gave his thoughts on what was going down with Errol Spence, making mention of, hey, look, I'm going to be in Vegas this weekend and I want the winner. Leonard Ellaby said, hey, look, Errol Spence is family. You know what I'm saying? And what he meant was, at the PBC, Errol Spence not only is signed to the PBC, he is like family with them because, you know, his career has basically, it was blossomed by the PBC. Al Heyman has been a big part of, you know, Errol Spence's success in boxing. I would say Al Heyman, and also, you know, his relationship with the Cowboys, you know. That's been a big part of him being as successful as he is in the sport, you know. They let him use the Cowboy Stadium. Before he went up to using the Cowboy Stadium, he was using the training facility. He had a fight there. But man, Errol Spence, his career has been blossomed, and it has a lot to do with the brilliance of Al Heyman. You know, Mayweather Promotions, all of that. What builds the PBC? What makes up the PBC? This is what has made Errol Spence so successful. And if Errol Spence want the winner of Sebastian Fundora and Tim Tszyu, I really believe now, honestly, that Errol Spence could get that fight over Terence Crawford. And something that Andre Ward, like I say, this is a weekend with a lot of good interviews. Andre Ward was being interviewed, and I got to shout out Fight Hype. Most of these interviews was Fight Hype. I watch a lot of Fight Hype, especially on weekends that is boxing. They have great interviews. So Andre Ward was being interviewed, and he just made mention. It wasn't like an opinion. He was just saying, he just made mention of it. He said, hey, look, if Errol Spence tweeted that he wants the winner of Sebastian Fundora and Tim Tszyu, he says that means he has had some type of conversation to make him feel like he's privy to giving that information. Like, hey, look, I want the winner. So in other words, that statement has validity because of some conversations that he knows, some stuff that we don't know about. He's had some conversations with people that's not public. The reason why he was able to make this public statement. That's what Andre Ward was saying. If Errol Spence said something like that, he ain't just talking. There has been conversations behind the scenes, in other words. And now that's why I say what Greg was saying on that video, hey, look, he wasn't just talking either. You know what I'm saying? He was saying something. Now it opens my eyes that make a lot of sense. Terence Crawford did what he had to do to play the card that he could play with the WBO. And that was his right as the WBO super champion. But there are other powers that be, man. Look, there are relationships. A lot of what we do in life, I'm learning as I get older. I'm learning that a lot of our opportunities in life are relationship based. The type of relationships that you build, some relationships are investments that are worth more than money. I'm going to say that one more time. Somebody need to hear this. Some relationships that you invest in are worth more than monetary investments. And, the reason why I say that is because sometimes the relationships you have with people can afford you some monetary value. You know what I'm saying? And I'm learning this in life myself. And this ain't got nothing to do with boxing, but it does. Because in business, I ain't talking about just boxing, in business period, in life, man, look, some of the opportunities that, if you look back on your life, some of the opportunities that you've been afforded were because of relationships. Some of the best jobs that I've gotten, or positions on a job that I've gotten, has been because of relationships, man. And that's the thing with Errol Spence. He has a relationship. That's what Leonard Ellaby was saying in the interview, that Errol Spence is family. In other words, he's built a relationship with the PBC, which Tim Tszyu, Fundora, that's where they fight. In other words, Terence Crawford is an outsider. He's played the card that he can play, which is a good card. But Errol Spence has a relationship with the PBC that can afford him other opportunities. I'm going to say it like that. And now I look at Greg. I say, Greg, hey, you on to something, bro. I got to say it. Hey, I ain't just talking. And I know Greg, he's more of an Errol Spence fan. I'm more of a Terence Crawford fan. But I'm very fond of Errol Spence. Like, I ain't no Errol Spence hater. The fights that Errol Spence been in, I've been in his corner and rooting him on the whole time. I just been a fan of Terence Crawford for longer. You know what I'm saying? So it just is what it is. But I am a Terence Crawford fan. When I say that, that's what I'm saying. I'm a Terence Crawford fan, but I'm very fond of Errol Spence and his career, and I wish Errol Spence nothing but the best. But I'm kind of just supporting though, like letting you know that a lot of people think that Greg, he might say some stuff because he hating on Crawford, but this ain't one of them times. He just saying something that for real, like Errol Spence has a relationship with the PBC, and that could trump Terence Crawford's card. The card that Errol Spence has may trump the Terence Crawford card. That's all I'm saying, and I'm a Terence Crawford fan. I'm not a hater of nobody. I'm just saying that could be, I just made a statement. That's it. Now, am I saying that Terence Crawford don't deserve the fight, or that Terence Crawford won't get the fight? No, I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is, hey, look, if you look at it, if Errol Spence get this fight, I would not be surprised. But Terence Crawford, the card he's played, hey, it is what it is. But all of this, all in all, I'm saying this maybe to kind of toot my own horn. The reason why I say that, because I've been saying all along, for all of the haters, all of the people who try to act like Terence Crawford is this and that. Look, I've been saying this. Errol Spence and Terence Crawford rematch will be bigger if they take other fights. They didn't have to have the rematch right back to back. They didn't have to do that. Man, look, in the old days, fighters been doing that, man. The rematch can be bigger. And that's why when everybody was saying, Terence Crawford scared to take the rematch at 154 and all that. No. In this particular scenario, this fight can be bigger at 154 with Errol Spence taking another fight, a name, which right now, Tim Tszyu is a hot name in 154. He has the momentum at 154. Jamel Charlo is no longer the man. He been stripped. He is no longer the man. So who's the man at 154? They say that the Tower in Inferno was the next man. He was supposed to be the next guy, but he got knocked out. So Tim Tszyu is the guy right now at 154. Like it or not, Tim Tszyu is the guy with the momentum that everybody is watching. So whoever wins this fight this weekend is going to be the man. So now, what would make a fight between Terence Crawford and Errol Spence bigger than if either one of them, it don't matter, whoever fight the winner, somebody can fight the winner and somebody can fight the loser. But whatever happened, this could make for a bigger fight, a bigger rematch for Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford. It don't matter who fight who. If Errol Spence get this fight, if Errol Spence gets the winner, right? Let's just say it, play it out. If Errol Spence get the winner and he beat the winner, Terence Crawford can fight the loser and beat the loser. This would make for a huge fight at 154 for Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford. Now, I'm going to tell you this because it's probably more or less what will happen. Errol Spence can fight the winner, and then Terence Crawford really don't have to fight either one of them. But it still would make for a great fight for Errol Spence, Terence Crawford. I'm going to tell you why. Errol Spence, in order to sell that rematch, and PBC, like I say, Al Heyman is a brilliant businessman. And that fight, especially coming on a new platform, would not have been as big of a fight as it could be if Errol Spence and Terence Crawford would have worked out the rematch and fought it like even this, say they fought in May or April or June or whenever, right? Without taking any fights, just come to 154 and fight. It wouldn't have been a fight that was anticipated. It wouldn't have been a high revenue fight. I'm gonna say it like that. But the brilliance of Al Heyman, look at what's unfolding here. They have created a monster at 154. Now this is a big narrative, man. 147 was the glamour division. Welterweight has been the glamour division for years. You talking about dating back for the original Four Kings. You know what I'm talking about? Hagler, Hearns, all them guys. Look, Sugar Ray Leonard, Duran, the original folk, dating back to that. The welterweight division has been a glamour division, man. It's been a glamour division. All those guys that I named has run through that division. You know, not saying they all fought at that, you know, at the particular time they fought in that division, but they were all coming through that division. This has been a glamour division, and especially lately, Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, these guys paved the way for the welterweight division to continue to be the glamour division. Now you come to Errol Spence, then Terence Crawford. The welterweight division was the glamour division. But look at the narrative that PBC has been able to control. That they control the narrative. Now, right now, if you look at the welterweight division, that's why, man, a lot of people were saying, oh, Jaron Ennis, Crawford need to fight. No, Crawford don't need to fight Jaron Ennis. Neither does Errol Spence. Those guys, their era at being welterweights has passed. They moving on. But look at the narrative that the PBC has created. Now, all eyes are on this fight, right? But this can make for a huge rematch for Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. And it could even go into a third, like a rubber match. Who knows? But look at the PBC. Look at the brilliance of Al Heyman. Look at the brilliance of the PBC. Look at what's going down. And look, this can set up, even if Errol Spence fight the winner, And Terence Crawford could sit out, or he could fight somebody else. He can fight somebody else that ain't even in the equation. But it still would make for a huge fight for a rematch with Errol Spence, Terence Crawford. So, hey, that's just how I look at it, man. Like, hate, comment, subscribe to the channel, man. Look, this Daddy P, Slap Pappy Gorilla. Hey, look, man. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell icon so you can be notified every time it goes down. You ain't got to always like my opinion, man, but let's just come talk boxing. This Daddy P, I'm out of there.